And happy Sunday to everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Scott Mendenhall. I've once been told I'm a little loud. I don't know if that's true or not. I could be, but I don't think I am. Let's see. What do you think, Joey? Am I a loud guy or just passionate?
I think you are passionate and loud. So, yes, I do think you are loud. But there are times where you're not loud. So, I think you're just a mixture. You're just like a breed, a unique type of breed. Like, I'm thinking of an animal, but
ooh,
what type of animal do you think you are?
Well, let's let Lily answer that one. What animal would you be? As we're joined with the
loud,
one and only Lily.
If you're loud, you're like a howler monkey. But who told you were loud?
Wow, a howler
Who
monkey?
told you
Howler
you were
monkey.
loud? I want to know.
I don't know.
Who told you?
A howler monkey? My mom used to tell me, and she'll hate this, but she used to tell me to talk quieter at the dinner table.
Aw, because your voice projects. I understand that.
Booming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are similar in that way.
We
My
are.
mom and I? Or
No.
Lily and I?
No, Lily and you.
But
Okay,
I have
okay.
a reason, 'cause I
Good
was a
morning to
cheerleader.
everybody in the chat. We would love to know, what animal would you be? Like, would best explain your personality.
I'm going.
Joey, what would you go with?
I think the first thing that pops into my mind is a silverback gorilla.
What? What? How do you even... Yeah. Wait, we need to do that again because you missed it. You gotta do...
No, well, like that, like that's the ideal.
Like that's like the king of the jungle, man.
Yeah, like that's like the ideal man pick right there.
Okay, well.
But that's cool.
other
You
than
can
that,
pick it.
The
okay.
ideal man.
Yeah, right.
It used to
What
be
if
a monkey.
I want that? What if I want to be a silverback
Fine, I'll be a
gorilla?
dog. A dog, so I'm just loyal.
A
and
dog.
No, be
I
the
just am
gorilla,
taken
that's fine,
care
I'm
of
not
and
telling-
Scott,
spoiled in
everyone
a
is
house.
saying that you're lying. Oh my gosh, she's gonna love that.
That I'm a lion.
Oh, you never
Yeah.
love that.
Ooh, I'll take it. Well, I'm wearing an
Exactly.
elephant on my shirt. Maybe that's just a little foreshadow there. See that little? I don't know why it's on there, but I was like, I gotta have it. It's an elephant on a shirt.
That elephant looks like he's having fun.
Always good time. What would you be, Lil?
I don't know. Maybe like a cheetah. I want to be fast and strong.
No, it's not who you want to be. It's who you are.
I am a cheetah because I am fast and strong.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Right?
Then cheetah. How fast does a cheetah actually run?
So fast.
That is-
Faster than me, actually.
That's not an actual rating or miles per hour. I would like that into a number, a figure.
Okay. I will.
I think
do
it's
it.
60.
I think 65 miles an hour would be what I've been told.
Okay,
But I don't
65.
know. Okay, hey, if you're just logging in from our other one-wheel video, we just dropped a one-wheel app
Yes, we did.
video game. I think we have like a clip of it. You can
We
see
got a
it.
picture of
Here
it.
is a picture. This is what it's. Scott's Adventure Racing. We talked about it last week. We know that games is misspelled. That is in the works.
Well, someone asked me if it was on purpose, and I was like, it might be.
It's going to be an update at some point for you that you'll get to update your amazing experience. Nonetheless, today, go download it only if you have an iPhone. But I have my buttons here today. Spider-Man's in my way.
Your buttons. Oh, you got
Yeah.
buttons to press?
So, yeah, but I don't know which one is which, so we're going to test them out. Let's see what sound this is. Ooh, that's a wrong answer. I need a... Lily?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got you.
No, can I do it? No.
Sure.
No.
Catch.
These
Wait,
are
what?
my...
Put wrong on that.
Wrong. I was going to put boing. These are my buttons that I am giving
Boing.
to Scott to use just for the studio, but I'm not going to let him
Right
write on
answer,
them.
Joey. Ding, ding, ding,
What do
ding.
you want on this?
Wrong.
Can I
like
put
if
on
you...
the back?
No, I can't see it to press it. Just put
This
it on
hurts.
there. I'll
This
buy
hurts.
you new ones.
No.
Okay. So we got a silverback gorilla. We have a cheetah, which I don't know. I will take the lion, but I would like to also I try to be like a rhino. And I have a tattoo of a rhino on me. I actually have a tattoo
Rhinos
of a
are cool.
rhino.
Why?
And,
Why
lion.
Why a rhino?
I think
Rhinos,
that's super
because think
cool.
about it, in National Geographic shows that you watch all the time, the rhino always, for whatever reason, has a bird pecking on them on their shoulder blades, always taking a free ride, and you never see the rhino like freaking out about the situation.
I need it. That is good.
And so the rhino
That's
goes on about his daily business while getting pecked at all day, and just like, I don't care. So it has thick skin, and so it's a reminder to me to have thick skin to as the rhino does, gives the hitchhiker that's pecking on his back a free ride, which is super kind of him. But he's not He's not angry at him. He's just like, okay, that's cool. I know some of you are going to, but that bird is actually helping him, but he's still pecking on his skin. Lily's trying to sort this out. I would like to point out before we move on, instead of writing wrong, and I thought you were going to make this really pretty.
I did.
That's what we got. Not centered,
Well, yeah, and then I put
and the circle's not a circle. What'd you do on that one?
A check mark.
Oh, that's
check,
better.
that check mark looks good though.
Thank
check
you.
mark is great.
And then the other one is like a wrong, like a no.
Okay.
Right?
What's the orange one?
Doorbell. We don't want
Doorbell.
this. Get this out of here. We don't want a doorbell. You can have that on your desk. There you go. Okay. So if you're just logging in, I should have started this way. We're talking about how to forgive others, which is a great way to start talking about the rhino and the bird on the back, because it's just forgiveness. Last week we talked about receiving forgiveness, and today we're going to talk about giving forgiveness. And I know when we talk about forgiveness of others, the offenses by others, the scale is so ginormous. Okay, I get it. There are the worst of the worst and the littlest, meaningless problems out there. So we're going to try to cover all of them and understand that not all things that need to be forgiven are created equal. I understand that. But we're going to try to give you some principles, 3 keys, 3 steps in forgiveness. We're going to do that in a little bit. We like to have a little bit of fun here. We want to put a smile on your face at different times, all those different things. But our hopes is, to be honest with you, is to connect you with God in a fun afternoon here with us. So I know a lot of you follow along on Sundays just to get a weather report. We did get a blizzard last night. Did you see that snow falling last night, Joey?
I was sleeping by the time the snow was falling. I
think I was too.
I saw a bunch of rain.
What time did you see it at?
Sleet.
I watched the snow come down. It was a blizzard.
Like at what time?
Yeah, I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of snow.
Oh, I loved my drive this morning.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, we got ice first,
beautiful.
So pretty.
which is dangerous. So then the trees have ice on them, and then the snow sticks to it. It's just a winter wonderland around here. It's amazing. And I watched it all last night. Oh, I don't know. You guys go to bed early. Like it started
I went to
like
bed at like 11.
No.
I went to bed. I
Yes,
feel like
I
I did
did.
too. Like 10ish, 11ish.
No.
I didn't look out my window though before bed. I wasn't like,
Yeah, it was
oh,
it
let
was
me
dark
see
out.
what
I couldn't
the
see.
window looks
I
like.
purposely leave the light on so I can watch this stuff. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. It's nice of you. It's nice for you.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing for you.
It is?
Yeah.
I always think, I look at nature, I think it must have, I always look at nature in all aspects, good and bad, and in between, the beautiful and the nasty parts of it, and just think, wow, God created all of that. And I just am always reminded how big God is. That's honestly why I love looking at nature. Did you know this? This is free. So maybe you're struggling, okay? You're in a moment of mental struggle, and whatever that is, okay? There is, and I don't know the maybe Lily will find it. This is going to be a tough one for you to find, Lil. There is a story where Abraham's disgruntled at one point, and he's inside his tent, and God says to Abraham, get out of your tent and look up. And then all of a sudden, Abraham's attitude shifted. Sometimes, a lot of times, a way to shift ourselves out of sometimes those moments of I don't know, where you just feel stuck. Getting out in nature is the best thing for you, to look up and go, oh man, this is beautiful around me. It's a perspective change. And so that's why I love nature. Nature always gives us perspective change. Where is it?
It's in Genesis 15.
Okay.
But Abraham said, Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? He was complaining. And then he said, the word of the Lord came to him. So God is saying, this man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, look up at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, then he said to him, so shall your offspring.
There you go. See, get outside. Get out of your tent.
I love that. I think
So,
that's fantastic.
Get out of
Sometimes
your
you just
office sometimes.
need a
Get out of your
perspective
house.
change. Environment change.
Go for a walk. Like just go. Okay, anyways, that's free. That is not.
go.
Just go. Let's go, baby.
Move.
Go.
Just move.
Move. Download the app. It's free. Again, our heart, I don't know if we've said this. Our heart in that app is, I have 8 kids, and I know that, man, the struggle is real when you put a child down to play a game. There's so many ads they can click out of there and end up in some of the sites that are awful, and we wanted an app that was like, instead of keep pointing out the error of the issues of online, like, let's create an app that actually does what we think it would create a safe environment for kids, but also be a fun game. Joey, how fast have you finished the video game? Do you know?
I think it was like 44
44
seconds?
seconds?
You guys, Dan finished it in like 21 seconds.
He
Yeah,
did?
That's so
I'm
impressive.
not kidding. Dan, put it in the
I
chat.
was
I know
so
you're
bad.
here. He did.
How do you know that?
I saw it somewhere.
What?
I think he told us on Wednesday during our podcast. Or
21
sometime.
seconds?
Dan,
That's
when did you tell
amazing.
us?
The fastest
I know it
I've
was
seen
you.
was 26.
26 seconds? That might be it.
Yeah, but that's with one squirrel hitting me. Those rascals.
It was your time.
Those rascals.
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about? Never mind.
Okay.
I won't bring it
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Scott
all
hitting
right.
me in the back. Did we ever talk about that?
What's wrong? Like, why did you, like, why is that coming up right now? If you didn't.
All right. Move on.
No,
move on.
I
Move on.
really
I don't
want to
care.
know. Let's talk about it. Like, I hit you in the back. You thought you got hit by a squirrel.
I thought
not.
I get hit. I felt something on my body and I respected it. And now
Joey,
after the fact,
thing was that
when
the
it hit
tennis
me in
ball
the back,
didn't come from the right
I know
angle
it didn't come from
that
the right
hit you.
area.
Yeah, but you just stopped.
So-
That's the best part.
I don't know.
And again,
We
yes.
can move on.
No,
But-
I just think it fit the racing app. If you wait long enough when you're picking your characters, it says pick me. Then Joey says Scott cheats, and Lily then I think it says no, I don't, and Lily says yes, you do. It was just like that part. It was like it really made the whole video
That's
game
because
piece.
it happens enough to put it in the video game.
Here's the other. No, that's
Yes.
pretty funny of you. The other thing is like maybe perhaps there is a glitch in there when you choose Scott. There's a cheat thing that you could actually. Ooh, wouldn't that be cool if that was built
Are
in
you
there?
saying that exists?
If you find it, it exists.
Guys, he's not the creator of the game. So
No, I'm not the
I
creator
just
of the
need
game.
to clarify that. for
Okay.
people who are
We're
wondering.
gonna come back to the chat after this video. We're gonna watch a great video here, and then we're gonna come back. And the idea of it is we're gonna come back and just say hello and good morning to heaps of people. We're gonna point out Dan's latest post. Did anyone see Dan? We talk about Dan's posts all the time around here, and I'm looking over at Joey. Did you see his post the other day about the tomato?
No,
You didn't?
I missed it.
Okay, so during
don't
this
think so.
video, go on Instagram, go to Dan Woodham's Instagram, and then we're gonna come back and talk about his boy tomato. It's great. It was hilarious.
Boy tomato,
Yeah,
okay.
he's cracked the code. He's figured out how to tell the difference between a female tomato and a boy tomato, and I
That's
didn't know it was a thing
amazing.
until he posted it. Thank you, Dan, for you're just genius. Okay. So what we're going to do is we got a great video that really sets up the idea of what grace is. Grace we talked about last week. That's really what we focused about in forgiveness. And so this really hits home. So pay attention to it. It's got a good aha moment at the end. So enjoy this. We'll be right back right after this video. Here you go.
Grace is God's unmerited favor for us, His crazy love. And the truth is, many times we struggle understanding it. If you find yourself struggling to understand God's grace, don't beat yourself up. Even the disciples struggled with understanding grace.
Jesus, is that you? You're alive. I can't believe you're alive. Okay, I was in the boat and I wasn't catching any fish, okay? But I heard this voice and the voice said, cast your net to the other side. And so I'm thinking, I'm a fisherman, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not catching any fish, you know? And so I throw that net over there and then a gaggle of fish pop into that net and I'm going, this is a total miracle. Who could have done that? I need to know who told me to throw the net to the other side. And boom, I look up and I mean, there is you. You're looking at me on the seashore going, it is I, the Lord, and you're alive. I can't believe you're alive. This is awesome. Andrew, get out of the boat. Come on.
Peter.
Yeah.
Do you love me?
Yes, I love you. I love you. You're alive. This is so great.
Good, then feed my sheep.
Andrew, get out of the boat. Come on, man. It's him.
Peter,
Yeah.
do you love me?
I love you, yes. And I'm so sorry about that rooster clucking. I had no idea what that meant, but I do now. I'm better for it, all right? Okay?
Then feed my sheep.
Andrew, I'm smiling, but I'm serious. Come on, get out of the boat. It's him.
Peter,
Yeah.
do you love me?
Jesus, mere words cannot describe the passion that I have for you. I love you. You know everything. I love you.
Good. Good. Then feed my sheep.
I didn't even know you had livestock. That is so like you, though. There's something new about you all the time. That's what I love about you.
Peter,
Yeah.
do you remember the morning the ladies went to the tomb?
Yeah. We're all in the upper room trying to figure out what to do next, you know, because we thought you were dead. You know, you were dead, you know, and we're trying to figure all that out, you know. And Mary comes running up, and Mary's like saying, beehive, beehive, beehive. And I'm thinking, I'm allergic to bees. Like, keep them out, you know what I'm saying? But as she kept getting closer, I heard her correctly. She was saying, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. And we're going, who's alive, who's alive? And she said she was at the tomb, and the tomb was empty, and she said that there was an angel there, and the angel said, go tell the disciples and Peter that everything is okay, he is risen. And so me and John, we hightailed it down there, and if John says he beat me, he's totally lying, all right? I beat him, FYI, all right, you know? And we get down there, and I'm looking in that tomb, and it is empty. There's nothing in there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And John is right there. John is so good with words. He should write a book. He is so good with words. And John said, don't you get it, Peter? This is everything Jesus said he was going to do, and you did it, and it's done. Let's go. This is so great.
Wait, the angel said what?
Go tell the disciples and Peter that everything is okay. He is risen. You've risen. Let's go. This
He
is
said what?
Go tell the disciples and Peter. Go tell the disciples and Peter. You said my name. Why did you say my name?
Peter, that's grace.
No, I don't deserve that, because that night people kept coming up to me asking me if I belonged to you, if I was with you, and I kept denying you left and right, all right? No, it'll take me my whole life to make up for what I did. It was unforgivable for what I did.
No. What I did on the cross was meant to take what is unforgivable and make it forgivable. That's my grace. It's not about you. It's always about me. That's grace, Peter.
Okay, that is phenomenal right there. Like the perspective of, obviously, hopefully you caught that was two guys pretending to be one Jesus, one Peter, and the interaction of that. You can find that in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I just think it's very interesting at the very end where Jesus makes sure Peter understands, I'm pointing you out because I know what you did. I know you did wrong, but I'm aware that, like, this is great. I want you to know I forgive you. In the statement of go tell Peter and the disciples I am alive. It's such a good read. Anyways, we want to say good morning to a few people. Dwayne Runs. Is Dwayne changed his name? I don't remember. It's always been Dwayne Runs.
It's been that for a little while.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yes, I thought.
Yes.
Oh.
Dwayne Runs.
Dwayne can confirm, but I remember him changing.
So good morning, Dwayne Runs. He's in Mississippi at the moment. He did say
Hi,
the
Dwayne.
temperature was very warm there.
73
something.
Yeah.
73. That's
I'm
nice.
still not ready for that weather, just to clarify.
After
Yeah,
a
me
snowfall
neither.
like today,
You know?
I'm like, I can do this for a little longer. Like it's just. So
It is still
beautiful.
winter.
I think I need to purchase this summer. I don't know what you call it, but one of those
Paddleboard.
hats. No.
A bucket hat.
I need a bucket hat.
Like I had on last week?
Yeah, but bigger.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can get you one of those,
I'm
Joey.
gonna get one of those.
I can get you one of
need
those.
one.
I can
We'll
get
hook
one
him
of
up.
you. I got you, bro.
All right.
Let me
bro.
just order it. Amazon will have it here, I'm sure, in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I need one.
Okay, Rachel Block, good to see you. You're in Florida. We have Kayla Lilly in the house. I love seeing her name. We got Nick Orlando. Nick, you've been a highlight, a big talk this week. So we're so stoked to have you in there. We have Michaela, which is Joey's wife.
Wifey.
Wifey.
Joey's smiling. He's like,
We have Michael Ryan. That just sounds like a movie or
Michael Ryan. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
who is the Ryan? Jack Ryan?
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Yeah, that's probably
That's
what it
why.
makes me think of. Yeah. But Michael Ryan sounds awesome.
Sounds
Michael
so
Ryan.
good. Okay, and then we got Dan. Dan, thank you for all of your posts, seriously, about your fruits and vegetables and your tomatoes. You're teaching us. You're a scholar. You really are. Thank you for
Yes.
taking one for the team to teach us all. Hopefully everyone had a chance to go see those. Dan, when you post, you just put a smile on my face, so thank you for doing that. We're going to give you a green check today. Ding! Winnie, I wish that echoed a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not too loud.
It's okay.
We'll get some other ones. The ones you buy can be better.
Yeah, I just wanted one of those ding, ding, ding bells that you just
Oh, like
tap.
the metal ones.
Like old
Ding,
school
ding, ding.
teacher.
Yeah.
Like when I'm saying this, I feel like it's a teacher thing. We got Mark Van Horn in the chat as well.
What up, Mark?
Good to see everybody. Amy Buell is in there as well. Some names are popping in. If you're just watching, jump on in. We'd love to see you. It's a great place to be. Thank you for everybody that always joins with us each week. It's always something fun for us to sit in here and laugh and tell stories. And so we're going to shift gears into the topic here in a moment. But before we do that, what we want to do is just give us a song. And I say give us a song like Lily's going to sing. Lily,
Sing me
us
a song. You're the piano man.
No.
Sing me
I
a
don't know that.
song tonight.
I don't-
We were all in the
You
mood
know
for
that.
a melody.
I know this?
You don't know
and
that
you
song?
got us
No.
feeling all
Oh,
right.
wow.
Ready?
I know the song. I
Okay.
can't
Well,
sing it,
you
though.
said
Oh.
give us a song.
Okay, Joey, give us
That's
a
what
song.
I got.
No. You give us a song.
No. You can't turn it around on me.
Joey,
What's
what
the
can
song?
you
What-
sing? What can you sing?
Down to the river, and into the river we ride or dive.
I
Bruce
don't
Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. I don't even know who that. I'm like, again, I don't know the.
Joey.
Wow.
That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Good to see that you guys are all like got your heads just.
Scott,
Yes.
Sing us a song.
Oh, I'm coughing now.
Yeah, you just cannot.
Scott, sing us a song.
I can sing you a song, but the problem is I'll sing a song that is like gonna take a very direct left turn or right turn, like a 90
it.
degree,
Well,
maybe
this
a
is
180.
awkward.
It is, or a good setup.
Okay.
Okay, here's the song I'm gonna
Okay.
sing you, but we're gonna play it in a video form. It is called Exalt. And the reason we do these songs is to give us a moment of reflection. Maybe you're new to being a follower of Jesus. You're on the fence about being a follower of Jesus. This is a good spot to just process all that. We don't do much of this in the week. We consume all this news that breaks us. We consume all of this other information that we just shouldn't have to hold on to. But we rarely pause and just have a moment of, this is who God is. Who is God in my life? We don't answer these questions. So while this song plays, maybe you need to put down your spatula. Maybe you need to stop what you're doing and just pause for a moment and give credit, give work to God, or answer the question, who is God in your life? And then we're going to be back and we're going to hopefully give you 3 steps on how to forgive other people. So enjoy this song, and then we'll be right back after this. Here you go.
We exalt you. We exalt you. Holy, holy is the Lord. We exalt you. We exalt you. Holy, holy exalt you. Holy, holy is the Lord. Come on, let's sing. We exalt. We exalt you, shine. Jesus.
I love the lyrics to that song. I just an exalting little, like, for those who are like, okay, what do the words exalt you mean? Maybe some people are a little on the like, why would we sing that to God? Why would we?
Exalt means to lift up, and I can also Google this, like, get you a legitimate definition. It says hold someone or something in very high regard, think or speak very highly of. So it's essentially like putting God in his position as God, and we are lifting his name up and recognizing that he is ultimately in control. He has all power, and we want to recognize that through song.
Yeah, and again, it's just pausing throughout the week to give credit and give, hey, God is God and I am not. And so that's why we love that song. I saw like a few of you guys going, super music, great music. It is. I love putting that on throughout the week. I love listening to Coldplay and Dave Matthews and stuff. But there's just oftentimes throughout the day, it's like, okay, I love that music, but I need music that gets my mind fixed on the things that I need to have them fixed on instead of all the other things in the world. So Amazon was kind enough to deliver so quickly. Joey has got his new hat on already.
Oh, Joey.
So fast.
Wow, you look
Unbelievable
ready to go for
how
summer.
fast Amazon can be. So
Wow.
yeah,
What do you
bucket hat
think?
right here.
What do you
This is
think?
what I'm talking about.
I don't think that's a bucket hat.
Joey, do you like it?
What is it called?
I don't know.
Like a sun hat.
This is like
That's what you need, Joey.
this is what I'm gonna be wearing all summer long. Like,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy gets
I've never
sunburned.
had one of these, and I've realized that I need one because sunscreen doesn't do the trick. I need sunscreen and this, and if I forget sunscreen, I have this.
Joey's
All
got
right.
some fair skin, y'all.
The dude
I do,
has
y'all.
the dude sort
Y'all.
Y'all, I wish I had a
a piece of hay straw.
piece of
Yeah, yeah, I got you. In
You
bib
know.
overalls. We're working on this.
Yep, I
We're
gotta
working
be,
on this.
I gotta learn how to farm, and I gotta learn.
Yes.
I need to learn a lot of things.
You do.
So-
It's
We'll get
okay.
you there. We'll get you there.
You are young. Okay.
You're
Let me
young.
ask this question to those that are online or in the room. When I ask this question, what comes to your mind? Have you ever, or do you remember a time that you were ever disobedient to your parents? Like your parents told you to do something and you did the very opposite of said thing. Lily, anything come to mind?
Well, yeah.
Like what's the first go-to?
Oh, one time my parents were away and they said don't have friends over, and we had friends over.
Sounds like you had a party.
We had a party.
Yeah, let's just go with what it is. How about you, Joey?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
No, yeah. There's definitely been situations. I don't remember a certain, but that definitely has happened where parents were out of town, friends over. I don't think they were supposed to be over. Times where I went to someone else's house when I told them I was supposed to go. I'm going to Jimmy's house, and I went to
Sally's house.
Sally's house.
Sally's house. Jimmy
Yeah.
and Sally. What about you, Scott?
Well, funny you should ask. I don't. Is my mom in the chat today?
Yeah,
Oh,
but you
she
know,
is.
she's a loving,
I
forgiving
didn't
woman
see
who
her
I'm
name
so
pop in
excited
there.
to see this week, Mary.
And so, Mom, good morning.
This is actually a conversation between Scott and his mom.
Yeah. Just everyone, give us a second. We're going to talk to each other. I'd like to tell my story, part of the story, to win. No, okay. So there was this one time, like multiple times. I'm probably a little like my son Epic, where it's like you hear the information, but it doesn't like stick. And so my mom was like, she left one day, early morning for work. and I needed to get myself up and get to school, catch the bus. And so I overslept that said morning, and I missed the bus. I was old enough to drive, but the rule was I couldn't drive to school. And so I was stuck with the idea of like, okay, what do? I'm going to not make school today. I think my parents would be really upset about that. And so I'm going to drive myself to school. It was the first snowfall of the year. And if Joey and Lily, first snowfall of the year, people just don't know how to drive. They forgot.
Yeah.
So true.
Like by this time of the year, most people remember how to drive and they're sensible, less crashes. First day, snowfall, stupid drivers. And so I was one of those that day. I hop in my little Nova and I take off to school, and I'm coming around a corner, again, being disobedient on two sets of things, overslept, missed the bus, and then I'm driving to school, and I just figured I'd get to school, get back before my mom and dad get off work. Well, I come around a corner, hit ice, I go off the road and go down a hill, and my car is held by a tree so it won't roll down the hill. Like, it's like worst case scenario, like, if the tree snaps, the car rolls down the hill. So I get myself out of the car. I did not bring any coat or hoodie or I was in a T-shirt, and no cell phones in this day and age. So I walked or ran 3 miles back. This was before I was a runner. And I ran back home to call my friend who had a truck. And I was like, bro, will you come pull me out so I can get to school? I was already late. And so he was a good friend. He showed up, went to go pull me out. But he had to go face the wrong way of traffic. Another car was coming around the corner. I don't know if you see where this is going. And that said car coming the other direction loses control and smacks his truck. His truck then hits my car. We have 3 cars. I'm over trying to tie a rope to said car. Now my car is coming at me. If you've ever seen the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford running from the train, I'm running from my car, trying to get away as fast as I can. I'm running as the car is chasing me. Now we have 3 cars stuck. My dad, for whatever reason, came home. I don't know what he was doing, but he's home. He shows up. We get a tow truck out there, and all of a sudden, I'm left with not a very happy set of parents. My car is pretty much totaled, and my friend's car is totaled. I have made a mess of things, like a disaster, a train wreck. I felt pretty guilty. I felt like,
Wow.
there was a lot of things I felt with my.
You just know.
Yeah, it was like that drive home because the tow truck took my car and I'm in the car with my dad. No words were exchanged, but millions of things were said. You ever been in that moment, right?
That's
yes.
like me and my dad, like all the time.
What?
like,
Nothing
Kurt-
said.
Like nothing said, but we know like what it like. There's like we know what we're thinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like there are moments like that I have like that with people, but I feel like you dudes can just really talk without talking.
Yeah,
You know?
it's this,
Like
it's
me and some of my friends are like, what do you guys talk about when you're alone? And they're like, we don't talk about anything. And we're like, what?
Yeah, well, I don't mind. If I'm around, I'm a
That's
wee bit
true.
of a talker.
I'm like, Scott's just different.
I don't fit the mold, apparently. I talk. I just know. I am a wordsmith. I've been once told. No, I'm not. That's definitely not what somebody said. Okay.
You tell great stories, though. I will
Yeah,
say.
Oh, you
I
do?
like the
Like,
running.
oh my
And I
gosh.
was like, ah!
Oh man,
And I've
telling.
never seen that movie, but I feel like I've seen it now.
Oh, it's my
So-
You
red
can
Nova.
visualize it. He makes
Yeah.
it easy to visualize.
Yeah, great. So it was terrifying. I was not visualizing anything. I really thought I was going to get hit by the car. It was chasing me because I was down by the tire. And then my friend goes, that truck's coming right at us. Oh, man. So anyways, I remember the drive home feeling like I had let my dad down and that I had messed up. And I was like, what can I do to fix this? That's the issue, is when you mess up, how do you fix things, right? I remember, I wrote in my notes, here's what I felt like I had already done wrong towards my parents, right? I overslept. I missed the bus. I drove to school without permission. I got my friend's truck messed up. I didn't take my winter gear with me, and I walked home in a winter storm. So I was just all on me. And so I was like, I remember, how do I get out of this feeling? And maybe you've been in that feeling of like, how do I get out of where I'm at? And so I think it is the art of forgiveness, the ability to forgive, like three areas in our life, and this is where we usually get hung up in one of these 3. You need to forgive yourself, you need to forgive others, and you need to forgive God. Now, let me because somebody's going to go, that is not theologically sound. If you don't know the word theological, great. You're in a wonderful spot. Stay there. God doesn't do anything wrong. God is a just God. God is a God that knows what he's doing, but there are times that we all feel like God has forgotten about us. We're lonely, and God, how did you let this happen? And it's okay to express frustrations with God. There's many examples in the Old Testament. Samuel's mother, oh no, I forget her name, Hannah maybe it is? Samuel, it's going to be in 1 Samuel, right towards the beginning. Samuel's mother couldn't have a baby. She was unable to get pregnant. Her husband, because of that, decides to get another wife because this wife was broken, so he has two wives. She's praying her heart out to get pregnant. She's like, at one point, praying so crazy that the priest of the synagogue was like, this girl is drunk.
Yeah, I thought she was drunk. It's in 1 Samuel 1. The
1
first
Samuel
book of
1.
So you guys should read
And what's
it.
her
It's
What's
good.
her name?
Her name is Hannah.
Hannah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Hannah, she expresses her frustration with God. So there's an illustration of like we can express our frustration with God. And really when I say we need to forgive God, God doesn't wrong us. So don't run with that going, God is not he's a just God. Is he fair? Depends what scale you use for fairness, because I think that's the blurry thing is like he is just. You and me saying what is fair, we're probably gonna land on something different. Like there's so many people that talk about 8 kids it's just not fair to all these kids because they're not going to get all these things, and it's like, well, I don't see that as unfair.
Right.
I feel like that's just life. So nonetheless, there's 3 steps, 3 things in forgiveness that I want to help you hopefully get out of the minutia of what I felt in that car going home with my dad and then I knew I was going to encounter my mom, and it was like and my friend whose truck, he was just trying to help me, and it is totaled. So there are 3 areas that you or I need to make right: my relationship with God, my dad, and myself. Now, how do I know this? Why would I know that I need to be at peace with those 3 things, Joey, as I look at you? What would make me, can you come up with a valid, like, concrete reason why we need to make sure that those 3 things are always in prime condition in our life, those relationships?
Otherwise, I mean, the first thing, if you don't, those relationships might be broken or affected because of it, and they could be broken. So I think it's very important that you communicate and deal with it in the moment.
Yes. So what does Jesus have to say on this, Lily? Hey, what would a Jesus principle that we could all because we're trying to get everybody on the same playing field that, hey, listen, if you're not in a right deal with God, others, and yourself, then you're not. You got some things to correct. You have things to forgive. What does Jesus say on this, Lily? Do you want to take a stab at it?
I'm working on the reference, but I do know that it is talked about in the New Testament where it said you can't come to the altar unless if you have a problem with a brother or sister, and meaning like you can't come to the altar, meaning don't come to me. Jesus is saying if you have a problem, an issue with another one of my children.
Okay.
I need to find the
Very
reference.
true. Very good point.
I'm gonna find it.
But I'm gonna give you this is like Joey and Lily. You need to tattoo this somewhere, and it's so simple, guys. Like this. Like those online, you might hear this for the first time, but this is the go-to spot. How do you know you need to make it right with your neighbor? How do you know you need to make it right with your parents and your brothers and sisters and people that you are following? How do you know? It's right here. These are Jesus's words, wrote down by Mark, an eyewitness to what took place. Actually, Mark is the ghostwriter for Peter, if you didn't know this. So Peter's really writing this down. A lot of historians believe that Peter was not educated enough to be able to write well enough, so he dictated it to Mark. Mark wrote it down. Now, you got to ask yourself, how's Mark going to put his name on it? I don't know. I'm sure it was paper, rock, scissors for those 2. Okay, you wrote it, but I dictated it. Let's paper, rock, scissors. Who gets it called? But Peter had like 3 other books in the Bible later, so it's all good. So Peter's words, he was an eyewitness account. This is Jesus says, and you're going to know, Lily and Joey, you're going to finish this, okay? You're going to know it when I say it. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, and all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no command greater than these. Okay, and this is where people were trying to pin Jesus on it. What's the greatest commandment? Because they're living in the law where there's like 614, 13, 15, depends where you It's just, I hear it all the time. Oh, no, there's 614, 313. There's a lot of laws, and these Pharisees are going, okay, Jesus, which one's the best? And he comes in and just boils it all down right here. I'm going to put it like this, and maybe Lily will write it in the chat for us. Be at peace with God, peace with others, and peace with yourself. Because he just said, love God with all your soul, mind, strength, right? That's what he said. That's the first thing. Then love your neighbor as yourself. There's three components there that if we're not at peace, if we're living in unforgiveness in those three areas of life, then we got a problem. I know for some of us, this is elementary, like I've heard you say that so many times, but this is how I knew, or I know in my life at times when I don't have peace in these areas of my life, I got to fix it. Because Jesus said, this is it. These things are like, Jesus, when he's saying this, the way it's wrote isn't love God. This is here. And then the second one is this. He says they're equal. And so this is Jesus saying, hey, listen to me. They're in my mind, if you're not at peace with your brother or sister or your mom or dad or your coworker or the person that opposes your opinion, then you're not actually at peace with me. So we got to fix these things. We got to pursue forgiveness. We got to pursue forgiving other people. Now, I want to make sure in the idea of forgiveness, and we know that in 1 Corinthians 13, the author Paul writes, love is this, and he goes, love is patient, love is kind, and then he says, love keeps no record of wrong. Listen, when it comes to no record of wrong, this means we don't hold it against somebody. It doesn't mean we have to work on forgetting. That seems like impossible. Like things when I've been wronged by somebody and really hurt, I have not forgotten. I can play them back superbly with every detail necessary to make it feel like it's all real again. I can't forget them. But what I can do is choose to use it against them in the future or to not. So no record of wrong is like if Joey and Lily hurt me is to bring it up later. Well, I did this because you did this 3 years ago. Well, that's not fair. That's keeping a record of wrong. But I'm not going to forget. Like, for most part, if you follow our one-wheel races, Joey and Lily can point out where they think I cheated, but they don't hold it against me. They're not mad at me for it, but they have a record. They know, but they don't use it against me. So when we talk about forgiving isn't forgetting what they did. Because, gosh, there's some heinous things that have happened to people that are watching online. You're never going to forget it. It's just you don't hold it against them, okay? So I want to make sure I'm clear on that. But you got to work on being at peace with these three things. And so this is what I was saying to myself when I was going on the journey back. I was like, man, I've messed up. I messed up real bad. I felt so guilty. And maybe a lot of you can, you feel this. And so then I was like, well, what does God have to say? Or what does Jesus have to say? Besides, like, I know I need to make a correction, right? Well, we just read, I know I have to make those three things right. And then the good old Dr. Luke, who was a researcher, a guy that went around and interviewed all kinds of people, the disciples and Mary, Jesus' mom, and interviewed them and put together an account of Jesus' life and his miracles. He records Jesus saying this in Luke chapter 23, verse 32. These are Jesus' words when he's going to be crucified. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Okay, so we come from this idea, I've messed up, there's no hope for me. But Jesus is saying, no, on our behalf, God, forgive them, they've messed up. They're just, in a sense, God, you created them, humans. They react instead of responding. They're kind of dumb. They mess up all the time. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive them. So we need to tap into the forgiveness. I love what the psalmist, a lot of the Psalms is wrote by King David, who was the second king of the Jewish nation, the Israelites. So you have David who writes in his journal thoughts about God and things he's experienced with God. And he writes on the behalf of God, he says in Psalms 20 or 37, it says, the Lord makes firm the steps of the ones who delight in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. What I'm catching from that is that, well, I might stumble, but as long as I run back, like I might mess up, I might hurt it. But as long as I'm working on being at peace with these three things, my ground and my footing is going to be firm. I'm a human, so I'm not going to do anything perfect. I'm going to have faults. I'm going to screw up. But God's saying, no. As you do that, I'm going to walk with you. I remember in that car going, I can't forgive myself. Like, I felt so guilty of the mess I've created. Not only was it me disobedient, it was also me in my friend's truck got messed up. A stranger's truck got messed up. My dad can't go to where I just felt like I couldn't forgive myself. I was a hot mess that day. Remember, this is like the 17-year-old version of myself. Think about at 44 what I create drama right now. Think about at 17 what kind of drama I created. Man, my mom, bless you. You're a good woman. So 1 John 1:8 says this. If we confess our sins, our wrongdoing, I missed the mark, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. Thank you, John, for being so wordy there. But really, it's just saying, God, forgive me of the stupid things I have done, the stupid things I have said. I don't know. Maybe some of you need to hear that. Like, you just need to go, okay, God, I screwed up. So you start there, because then that makes peace with God. So step one is make peace with God. Correct your relationship with God. Forgive yourself is number 2. You've got to forgive your messes. And the third thing, you got to forgive others. Like whatever wrong thing they've done. Because this is the truth. And I say it like this. And Lily, help me break it down. And I say, being a follower of Jesus, this is somebody that's like, Jesus, you are the Lord of my life. You are directing my footsteps. Being a follower of Jesus is not just about receiving forgiveness. That's the sexy part, right? That's the fun part about being a follower of Jesus. Yes, I need that because I don't know how to handle my guilt and my shame. That feeling I felt in that car is like, take it away. It's just gross. And a lot of times, instead of running to God in asking forgiveness, we run to substances, which we talked about that. It's a vicious circle. But being a follower of Jesus isn't just about receiving forgiveness, but giving forgiveness. When I say that, Lil, you have a thought in your mind, or do you have a moment in your life where you're like, okay, I struggled to forgive said person because just whatever your scenarios, but like that idea of like, God forgives me, but it's not always the easiest to forgive somebody else. You ever felt that tension before?
Yeah, and I think it's like you just feel like you're only doing it halfway. And it almost like I always resort to feeling unworthy. So it's like, I can't even forgive this person who's wronged me. So why do I deserve forgiveness from God? But I always live knowing I'm forgiven, knowing I've got work to do to forgive. So I think it's like you always know when you have more work to do, but it's hard to do.
What's the hard part of that, Joy? Like, what's so hard about it when she says it's hard? Like, do you find it hard? Like when you're talking about forgiving somebody else or having to, like, is that hard to do for you?
Yes. I think it's hard for everybody. I think because if someone, we're selfish. If someone's wronged you, someone has done something, it is not easy to like, just like, hey, I forgive you for what you've done, or what you've said, or whatever it may be. I don't think that's, it's easy, but it can definitely free you and take a load off of you when you do forgive. But no, to answer that, I don't think it's easy, but I do think it's worth it in the end.
It is worth it. Coming from people like, and I can only speak for Lily and Joey because we talk on these matters so many times when the cameras are off and things of that nature, is that it's not always easy because there's this, I want them to feel the hurt they made me feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I think that's the wrestle. They hurt me. I want them to feel equally as hurt. And that's just dangerous because then there's no love. That's not what love requires you to do. Now, hear me. There's a lot of wisdom in this. Like, not all offenses are created equal. If you're in a relationship where it's abusive physically or emotionally, you need to forgive them but get out of there. And that's not me saying, if you're married, get a divorce. No, you got to get out of there, get safe, and then mend the relationship. Don't become a punching bag verbally or physically. That's not wise. That's not healthy. You need to get yourself in a safe place. If you got a coworker that is just mentally beating up on you, you gotta forgive them, not get even with them. But you need to also then take yourself out of the equation for a season. Remember, being a follower of Jesus, if you want to do this right, it's not just about receiving forgiveness. That's the cool part about being a follower of Jesus. But it's giving forgiveness to others. So the second thing, I know you're like, second, we just did 3 things in one shot. Right, that's one step, is being at peace with those 3 things. God, neighbors, and yourself. Step 2 now is to give the same forgiveness you got to others, to now flow through you. Like, I'm just a stinking funnel for forgiveness. That's what I should be. Except for most of us are like the Hoosier Dam. If you live in the United States, it's one of the largest dams made by humans. It's ginormous. It powers houses for like millions upon millions of homes. In the way that they have it built there, the Hoosier Dam stops all the flow, I think it's of the Colorado River. Our job is to not be a dam to forgiveness. We are to be a funnel where it flows through us to other people. Forgiveness is to give others what God has given us. This is our definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is giving to others what God has given to us. Being a follower of Jesus, I can't say, isn't about being a recipient of grace, but giving his grace. And I think so many of us probably stop right there. It's like, whoops, I hit the wrong button. We could probably stop right there and go, okay, I got work to do. And maybe you do. That's your homework. Forgiveness doesn't just flow to us, it flows through us. So I'm going to ask this question to Joey and Lily. I'm going to read that statement one more time. Forgiveness doesn't just flow to us. It flows through us. So Joey and Lily, if you're ranking your flow between 1 and 10, how would you rank your flow of forgiveness? How's your flow? Those that are online, how's your flow going? How would you rank your flow in your own life? Like, is forgiveness just coming right through you? Or are you holding it up and not giving it to other people? So Joey, how's your flow going, man?
Man, I would say different parts. I would say like a 6 or so. I would say in the middle. I think a lot of times I forgive the person in my own mind, but I sometimes don't tell them that I forgive them. And so a lot of times it's like I forgive them in my mind and I forgive them, but I don't let it flow through me to the other person, like saying, hey, just so you know, like I forgive you for what you did. But yeah. So
okay, we got a 6 coming in on Joey's.
A 6.
What are you saying?
I would say I teeter in the middle too, like a 4 to 5, and it all depends too on my mindset and how good I am at reminding myself I've already forgiven that person, but here, why don't we do it again and do it again? Like Jesus says, forgive 70 times, 7 times. Do it as many times as it takes. And I think that just the art of saying like, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you over and over again has a lot of power. But when I'm at a 4, it's like, I'm still mad at that person. I'm still harboring on the things they did to me, even though some relationships have been reconciled, you know? So I think it's all about just like knowing I have forgiven them. Or if you haven't, like doing that and then continuing to do it when you start to feel that resentment or just chaos in your heart, you know? So
yeah, I would love to hear people ranking your, and again, you don't have to, but it would be cool to see what you're ranking your flow as in the chat. Like, how would you rank it? I was just reading Justin Lin. I feel like it's easier to forgive others than myself. So I don't know how my flow is going right now. But see, that's the beauty of Jesus's words. He right there tells you, hey, if you're not at peace with yourself, you got to fix that. You got to figure out how to forgive yourself. Because I know we're like, how could I say that? How could I treat a person like that? You got to be able to forgive. Because here's the key. Here's why. In the same way that you receive the forgiveness from God and then internalize it for yourself is the same way it's flowing out of you. So when we say I can forgive, like Justin's saying, I can forgive other people as easy as me, but that kind of forgiveness you're giving to them is going to be a different version than the godly forgiveness because you're struggling to forgive yourself. So it flows out of you different than it was received.
yeah, that's good.
And this is how I know this. This is not like some genius state. It's just me reading Jesus' words and go, ah. So Jesus was asked by his disciples multiple times, so how do we pray? I think this is the only time where Jesus actually answers his disciples' questions. Like he actually teaches them how to pray. It was prompted by their questions. It's the Lord's Prayer. If you grew up in a church with the hard pews and hymnals and all those things, you probably heard it recited so many times. But here's the Lord's Prayer. This is how Jesus said, this is how you should pray. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. Then this is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. When I always think about the deliver us from the evil one, I think of the first Spider-Man for some reason. Am I the only one?
No.
Yeah?
Yes, you are.
It's when Aunt May is sitting, she's like,
Sorry.
she's being attacked by the Green Goblin, and she was praying the Lord's Prayer, and the Green Goblin comes and goes, finish it. And then she's like, and deliver us from the evil one. And it's him. No, I'm the only one. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for leaving me hanging
No,
there.
I'm sure you're not the only one, Scott. I think people
Maybe
know what you're talking about.
I should have
I think-
pulled. Okay, go. You'll find it. Go watch the movie. Okay, so that's the part we know. And Jesus says, okay, you should say, forgive our debts as we also are forgiving the debt. Like the same way you forgave us, we should forgive. Like this is where we get the idea. It flows right through us to the people that are in debt to us. And then Jesus goes on, like we read that and that's it. But then this is what it continues on in Matthew. Matthew being an eyewitness account. But if you forgive others when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins. I think right there, let's just go home. Let's log off because right there it is. But we all want step 3. But there it is. There it is. The way I receive the forgiveness of God, and then I give it to somebody else, in turn, I reap what I'm sowing. That's the principle. I reap what I'm sowing. If I'm going to not forgive that individual, then God's not saying then I'm going to get even with you. It's like, oh, I see where you're at. Your flow's pretty jacked up right now, so it's going to flow right back to you, and I'm going to I'm going to give the same forgiveness you gave. And then it's a problem because then it's like, oh crap, I didn't forgive that person. And God's like, well, until you forgive them, I actually can't forgive you. Because you won't do that over there. And so we need to forgive ourselves. And this is true on ourselves. If you can't forgive yourself, then you got a problem with God. That's it. Like, I know that's going to rub some people because like, wait, what? I don't though. No. When you're not at peace with any of those 3 things, you got a problem with God, especially the other 2, the neighbors and yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, then what you're saying is, God, your what you did through Jesus didn't count for me. That's pretty hurtful. Think about this like this when it comes to forgiving yourself and others. Forgiving somebody else, especially somebody else, might not set them free, but it might be the thing that sets you free. How much you forgive them is the wrong question. Like, right, well, how much should I forgive them? How much freedom do you want to feel will determine how much you will forgive them. No matter how big the issue is, and again, I don't need to illustrate, but the heinous things in the world that are just like, come on, gross. Got to forgive them. I'm not saying it's still not going to hurt. And I'm not saying that you'll ever forget it. But you got to move to try to forgive them. Think about this. Show me a wounded person, and I'll show you an unforgiven person. Joey, if I brought in, what kind of dog do you have?
A Labradoodle.
What's his name?
Ace.
Ace.
Yes.
Ace is the place. Okay.
Ace is the place.
Explain to us the temperament of Ace.
He, when you initially like see him, he's very high energy, I would say. He, especially when you first walk in, he's like out of control, wagging his tail like crazy. It's like a weapon. And he just gets super, super excited. And if he doesn't get exercise, you can just tell. And so I would say high energy, but loving as can be. The dog just thinks he's a lap dog, and thinks he's like 5 pounds, but in reality he's like 65 pounds and just wants to lay on you and lick your face and love you to death. So yes, he's a very kind, loving, and crazy.
He's a good dog.
He's a good dog.
Such a good dog. He has so much hair. Okay, people are like, why did we just pause to get an update on Ace?
Yeah.
Joey's probably, okay, tell me this, Joey. Has Ace ever been really severely injured?
No.
No. Okay. What do you think would happen to Ace's temperament if he got injured? Let's say he got his leg broken or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
just he's hurt.
I think he'd be very sad, depressed, and just like, yeah, like you can just tell when a dog is sad. Like the dog would be sad.
Do you think he'd also could be prone to violence, meaning maybe biting somebody if you touch the wound and things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. I think all of my dogs are the same way. Like great temperament, but I think when they get injured, they're just not messing around anymore. And my point is, an injured animal is way dangerous than a animal with no injury, but same with the human. A wounded human is far more dangerous than they are when they are healthy and forgiven. And the wounds we're speaking about are the wounds of unforgiveness that we can't forgive other people from. And then all of a sudden we carry around this wound, and so we lash out at people. We're frustrated by small things. We're carrying around burdens that we're not supposed to be carrying around, which in turn make us prone to hurting other people. Show me a wounded person and I'll show you an unforgiven person. So Matthew goes on and tells this story where Peter walks up to Jesus and is like, hey, how many times should we forgive somebody? Lily already alluded to this. Lord, how many times shall we forgive my brothers and sisters who sinned against us? Up to 7 times? So he answers his own question, and Jesus says, no, I tell you, no, 7 times, not 7 times, but 77 times. And you're like, wait, what? You want me to do what? You want me to forgive 77 times? You want more than just... So that's where we get. And then Jesus goes in to tell this story. He goes, therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wants to settle accounts with his servants. And he goes on and tells this story about how, and you need to read it for yourself because we don't have time to go through it, but he comes in and it's like this. Let's use Joey and Lily. Lily, do you owe me anything?
Oh, probably.
Like, are you in debt to me at all? Have you ever borrowed money that you still owe me?
I know you've gifted me things that
Okay.
I didn't get to return.
Do you owe me like returned in services of like how much work I've done on your one wheel?
No.
No, you're not in debt with that?
Well, because you don't say that I am.
Oh.
Maybe someone else might consider yes.
So you're not in debt to me at all?
I think maybe you're needing me to say yes.
No.
I
Joey,
think she's saying that you do a great job reflecting Jesus.
all right, Joey.
Because that's what she's saying. Like most people would be like, "No, you need to pay that dude what he's doing for you."
Are you in debt to me?
Probably. I have the same response as Lily. Like I'm not expecting to take this hat, but I have a feeling after service today, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll just take that. It's yours."
It's yours. Amazon delivered it.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So they're not in debt with me, but let's pretend that they are. I'm in debt to these two. They put up with my shenanigans all the time.
True.
And so let's say Lily owes me $100.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that.
And I owe Joey $100. Okay. Now Lily comes in and I say, Lily.
Yes.
Oh no, let's play it this way. Sorry. Lily owes me $100 and Joey owes Lily $100. Lily comes to me and goes, Scott, I can't pay this $100. And I'm
Because
like,
Joey hasn't paid me.
okay, that's fine, Lily. I forgive you. You don't have to pay that at all. And she's like, hooting and holler, that's so amazing. Now I can go out and buy a new pair of Noble tank tops or something. And so she's really excited. But then
Yes.
Joey comes to Lily and goes, Lily, I can't pay you the $100. I need to buy baby food. And Lily goes, no, you're going to pay me the $100
Yeah, I
because
want
you...
my money, man.
I want it,
I
right?
want my money, man. Let's go.
So this is the story that Jesus paints in front of Peter. He's like, here's the story. Then after this is all told, like she was forgiven, but she won't return and forgive them. This is the response to the character, the master that I was playing in the story. The master calls to the servants, you wicked servant, he said, I canceled all the debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant just as I have had on you? In anger, his master handed him over to the jailer to be tortured until he should pay back all he owed. This is how the Heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brothers and sisters from your heart. That's how we know we're supposed to be. The last piece of this puzzle is don't get offended. Let me just do a refresher really quick. The 3 steps for forgiveness is 1, make these 3 areas right when you have done wrong. Forgive yourself or be at peace with God yourself and others, okay? Be at peace. Forgive all of those. Number 2, in this equation of getting set free, experiencing forgiveness, is give the same forgiveness that you got to others. And then the third thing is don't get offended. I know that's so easy to say. I was going to put on the screens, I'll just read some comments that recently have popped up on some of our videos, especially on Facebook. There's some people that just aren't very nice. And so this popped up on one of our latest videos, a tire review. It was a tire review on a one-wheel tire telling the world about a treaded tire. This is Noah Gerners, Gernes. Gurns, okay. This is his response to like, it just comes out of nowhere. Well, that was my response. Where does he? Sorry.
I think it's in blue.
Oh, yeah.
I got it too.
So his response is, won't even come out to his local one-wheel rides. I would think if you want community support, you would support your community. So he's upset that I've never been on a group ride here. I don't know this guy, and I've never made it on a group ride here. And the truth is, I have 8 kids, and I just got a lot going. I love riding my one-wheels, and we have a bunch of people up in this direction that ride one-wheels, and we are, nonetheless, that's where he's put. Somebody else says, I'm not sure it would improve your experience, so it doesn't bother me. Why would you want him in a group ride screaming, talking at everybody? This sounds annoying. And then we'd have to censor what else they put. My response was, I'd probably simmer down. Like, I respond to all of these, but not in a pick and a fight. I would probably simmer the shouting a little bit hot unless we started to race. Then you know what I would be shouting, like I'm going to win, kind of just having a bit of a laugh. Then I respond to Noah talking about my 8 kids. And then another guy comes in. This guy is certainly a great advertisement machine, but I don't trust his opinion. Okay, thank you. And then somebody very kind says, I like your podcast. And then somebody else comes on. I've never been able to finish one of their videos. Loaded with fluff. They should be only 40 seconds long. And then somebody says, exactly. This is not a one-wheel rider, folks. This is a plug machine for himself. That was a response to a one-wheel video. Now, if you...
that hurts me for you.
Yeah, and that's like the kindest that I would want to read out in front of people. But I try so hard to not be offended by those things. Like, I genuinely love one-wheel community. I really do. I love the people. I love to be able to connect with them and then point them to Jesus. You're experiencing that today. Try to teach them biblical truths and stuff. But when I read those things, I want to make them hurt. Right? My reaction is to tell them what I think of them, like my response, like, oh yeah, way to invite me to the group ride. Like, I really want to ride with you now. Like, hey, Joey, Lily, want to go ride? This guy's just invited us. This is how the invitation was to the group ride. Want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So don't
Yeah,
be
I love it.
offended. It's such a cool little thing to say, but here's where I get it from Ecclesiastes, which is King David's, one of his sons, wisest man to ever live. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 21. Do not take to heart all things that people say. Well, just right there ended. It's so good. Least you hear your servant cursing you. Your heart knows that many times you yourself have cursed others. It's like, man, I've said stupid things about other people, so it's kind of like, let it go. Don't take heart to all the things people say. Like, okay, make sure you know who you're listening to. Proverbs 19:11. This is such a good one. Good sense makes slow to anger, and it is to his glory to overlook an offense. This is, again, King Solomon saying, hey, don't be offended. Don't let the little things offend you. Don't let somebody's opposing opinion of you or a topic offend you. Because when we get offended, we react to things. And then King Solomon also wrote that, man, be slow to respond. Don't react. Because if you react, it's like pouring gasoline on a situation. It blows up and it's a hot mess. But when we get offended, we just immediately lash out to each other. So don't be offended. This is now that you've forgiven yourself and others and are at peace with God, okay, now it's like, how do I keep this vicious cycle from happening? Don't get offended. We need space between the comment or the situation that took place, that could have offended us before we respond. You need time. Create space. So why don't I pick a fight with those that I could take offense to? And if you search enough of our videos, especially on Facebook, there's some people be hating out there. Proverbs 9:7 says this: whoever corrects a scoffer gets himself abused. You ever see that play out, right? In social media, when somebody comes in and tries to correct somebody, that's not how you treat people. They blow up and it's just a hot mess. Right here, King Solomon's trying to say, I've seen this. I've watched. He studied human nature. And he says, it's like you just get abused. And he who reproves a wicked man incurs injury. Do not reproof a scoffer. Do not correct. Do not try to point in the right direction. A scoffer's an idiot. Or he will hate you. Reproof a wise man. Teach a wise man where the direction you go, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. Who are you in this? Are you the scoffer in this, or are you the wise man or woman in the story? And so we wrap it up with that. Don't be offended. Why do we need to work on being offended? Because the authors in the Bible write, listen, especially King Solomon, he studied human nature. He's like, I've watched it. He pens at one point, there's nothing new under the sun. And I think what he's trying to say in there is not new ideas, because the iPhone was not a thing when he's talking about the way humans behave. He's like, there's nothing new under the sun. Human nature is human nature. When someone's hurt, they're going to tend to get hurt, or they're going to tend to hurt other people unless there's an intersection of Jesus in their life, which then teaches us to let the flow come through. I'm going to forgive them. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to be offended. So we ask this question once again: how is your flow when it comes to forgiveness? Are you receiving the forgiveness in its purest form and then releasing it to those that have offended you in its purest form? Or is it tainted because the vicious cycle will come back to you and you're going to get the version you gave that person? And I know you don't want that version. And I know you want the real whole 100% of forgiveness. You got to let it go. Those that have wronged you in the gravest ways, you got to let it go. Those that hurt you in the simplest, got to let it go. Don't be offended. You choose to be offended or not to be offended. Choose to not be offended. Memorize Proverbs 19:11. Just memorize it. It'll be good for you. Okay, we're going to leave you with that. That's the big thought of the day. How's your flow? We got to work on our flow. We got to forgive some people. We got to work on not being offended. And thank you, Lily, for being offended for me.
You're welcome.
I'll take that. Sometimes it's good to be a little encouraged after
I
you
should
read
answer
those.
those questions too.
Oh, you
on
did?
The Facebook. No, I should.
You should. No,
Should get in
but then
there.
that's where you're right. Like then you're doing what Proverbs 9:7.
Just scoff.
What, by
correcting
commenting?
a scoffer.
Yeah, like to go in and talk about like, no, he's actually a good guy and da-da-da-da, whatever you would say.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do that. I don't.
Like I responded.
But I also do not like you, Scott. No,
Yeah, well,
you
go for
responded
it.
in the right way,
You responded great.
and which, in return, though, probably even bothered him even more.
But you notice there's no response.
exactly
Right. They don't know what
because
to do.
you responded perfectly, but
But he wasn't
if
like
you
my
would've-
first.
if you were responded with more like anger and like backlash, then that conversation definitely probably would have kept going.
Oh, it'd have blown up.
Yeah.
It just gives you another opportunity to be consistent in what we're trying to do. Like Raymond here in the chat says, I felt like God was leading me to one wheel to then lead me to Scott and ultimately back to him.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. That's what we will always try to do. We will not change what we are doing because people are coming in the way of it.
Yes, Lily.
And when Scott can comment something kind back or explain without anger or without retaliation, it just adds to the consistency that we're trying to provide. Will they ever see it? It doesn't matter. But we are being faithful with what we feel called to do, and that's this. That's meeting all of you guys in the chat, and
Yeah.
it's been phenomenal. So we're not going to stop because there are haters.
Right. And it is one of those things, think about all of you that are watching and love this. And man, what a humbling thing to hear about us pointing people back to Jesus, that we get to be a part of those stories. And it's tremendous. But if you bumped into that thread, I'm sure some of you are going to go look on Facebook now, right? You're going to get into One Wheel group chats and go look. What are people saying? Don't do that. Well, I mean, whatever you need to do. But you're going to go look, right? And what if you found where I just started railing on somebody? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you think that? Well,
That would be so confusing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we see so many places politically. Like the words don't match actions, but to be a follower of Jesus is to be led by Jesus. I don't get it right all the time. And this is an area that I've had 44 years of practice. I for the most part, have been somewhat in front of people. So I've learned this. Like early on, man, I'd just react right away. I'd pick a fight. And it was like, wait, that's not Jesus' principles. That's creating more of a mess. I'm not pointing anyone anywhere. But when you do what we just read those verses, it's like the results are very different.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in charge of the outcome. God is. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. And yes, does it hurt? And I was telling Lily and Joey, like, it's definitely put me back into a funk, especially to copy paste those things and replay the story. When I first read it, I was offended. Hurt would be a better way. And you're just like, man, that's not my heart. Like, my heart is not anything other than to build a relationship with I just, who'd you say said that? I missed the name.
Raymond.
Who is it?
Raymond Burkett.
Raymond. Yeah, to hear Raymond say, he got it. That's exactly what it is we're trying to use something that's a one wheel, and people buy a one wheel, and they had no idea that was God moving them to a one wheel, a mobile device that finds Jesus.
Yeah.
We got a winner.
That's right.
I really wish that was faster. It's too slow. I want to just... Okay. All right, let's
This is
pray.
good.
Let's pray. Jesus, we thank you for Raymond in his comment. We thank you for just everybody sitting in here today, the first-time guests. Well, we ask that this message would resonate with each person, and we would all walk out of here going, okay, I got to work on my relationship with God, with others, or myself. One of those three things we got to leave here today going, I got to forgive. Maybe it's all three. And maybe it's a great spot to recognize, okay, I got to work on that. And maybe we walk out of here free. That we would experience true forgiveness, and that it would just be light and easy. God, we pray for the church in Ukraine, as there are many churches on the ground, as we've just heard reports of pastors that are feeding people. And God, may you continue to do miracles over there of may their food banks not run out, and may they have supplies to help the wounded, and be with the church, in the underground church in Russia, that they would be a light in the darkness, that you would prevail in just this heinous thing going on where lives are being taken and a country's being conquered, God. We ask that you would move mightily over there, and we would hear reports of how the local churches there are doing a great work. Jesus, I thank you for our opportunity to be able to do what we do every week in your name. Amen. And I want to make sure, when we talk about the action item for so many of you, you want to experience where Jesus says, who the Son sets free is free indeed. The Son is Jesus, God's one and only Son. When we ask forgiveness, poof, it should feel light. God forgave you. The enemy's going to try to remind you of your past or remember what you did. And here's the deal. Here's the truth on this. If you get this analogy, Jesus was crucified with 3 nails. That was the only set of nails the enemy had. He can't crucify you. He already crucified Jesus. Like, he's got nothing, no tools, no weapons. All he has is to drop thoughts in your mind and make you feel ashamed and guilty of your past. Jesus forgave it. Now move on to the future. The enemy wants to keep us tied up into our past, and that's just not the way we should function. Ask forgiveness, be set free, and move forward and forgive others as God has forgiven you. And you will experience something that is unexplainable. It's a supernatural feeling of how God's burden is light. Hope that makes sense. Okay, we do want to say thank you to everybody that's ever partnered with Unlock Church with resources. If you went to a local church, they would pass buckets and stuff. Well, we can't pass buckets where you're sitting. And so many of you call this home. And we don't do this because we want your money, nor do we need your money. It does, when people give regularly, it does help us upgrade things so we can do this better and that we can serve our church online better. Obviously, that's happening, but that's not why we do this. This isn't like all other YouTube channels. Oh, yeah, like be a patron, and it's because Jesus talks about giving a portion of our resources, tithes and offerings. That's why we do this part here. And we save it to the end because it's not the focus. It's not the primary thing. Our whole heart is to connect you with God and that God would change your life forever through Jesus, okay? But this is that moment in the church where we pass a bucket. And if you log off, have a good Sunday, subscribe to the channel if you would. But if you would love to partner with us and give, Joey, how can they do that?
Well, 2 ways you can give. You can text the number 77977 to unlock. Very, very simple. You can do it that way. Or you can go to unlockchurch.com, press the giving tab at the top of the screen, and give that way. So 2 easy ways to do it. And just, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for everybody that's done that. Lily, what do we have this summer that they could all be involved in?
Yes, we have a summer camp.
Yeah,
it's happening
baby!
July
Woo!
18th. It's happening July 18th through the 22nd. I am not sure if we have an image on that computer or not for it, but we'll get one next week. It's going to be a great week. So if you have children between the ages of 4 and 12, even potentially middle school, high school, keep coming back for details on that. Or if you just want to come and volunteer and hang with us, we would love that too. So,
Yeah,
July
make a
18th
trip
to the
this
22nd.
summer to volunteer during our summer camp. Phenomenal, like all the above. Like this is like all of the Unlock Church doing that. Local here in Minnesota, and those that are online. We'd love to have your family. We have teams coming in from Texas and Mississippi right now. They're going to help us do this camp. So you wouldn't be the only one coming in from another state. It would be so cool to get a lot of you up here being a part of that.
Yeah.
Also, we are doing, I don't know if we have an image for this either, but we are doing the last one-wheeler standing. You can go watch a video on my YouTube channel, but we're inviting anyone that would like to come up and earn a potential $2,000 cash prize
That's
for
gonna be good.
being the last one standing on your one wheel. That's happening as well. A lot of traveling potentially to Minnesota, frequent flyer miles. But we're inviting all of you to that. If you're interested in either one of those, you can DM Unlock Church's IG account or Lily's, Joey's, or my account, and we'll point you in the right direction. Guys, thank you so much for hanging with us. Like I said a moment ago, we would love, if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe to this channel, to turn off the bell notification, and then drop a comment. So those that come in throughout the week, we have a lot of people that will watch a lot this afternoon. Drop a comment down below so they get the idea of today's YouTube stream. You know, it gives them an idea, oh, yeah, this is what's happening on there. So go ahead and do that. We'll respond this week. Other than that, have a fabulous week. If you're in Minnesota, be safe out there. It's icy. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. It'll be a good week next week. Bye.